During the morning trading session, we went 2 for 2 on the day. G-Roar called out a 1000% profit return on SPY put options. I ended up calling out a 100% profit return on Tesla call options. I made it very clear in terms of the game plan that I posted last night. If Tesla goes under the previous closing price, we can potentially spike to $220. And below the previous closing price can be a phenomenal entry to buy those call options. Once I noticed that there was a 30-minute confirmation to buy call options, I bought those Tesla calls, 220 strike, almost at the exact lows at 250 a contract. And then we ended up selling at the exact peak when Tesla hit 218, the highs of the day at 405 a contract, man. Nearly a 100% profit return on the Tesla calls. And then later on throughout the day, G-Roar called out another 1000% potential profit return on SPY puts. Then during the power hour trading session, I called out nearly a 200% profit return on SPY calls. Then I called out a SPY loss on puts on the last trade. With that being said, I'm going to be breaking down the trades that we ended up making towards the end of this video. But first things first, we are going to be going over the new levels in the new market price action analysis. Let's get straight into it. So in terms of the SPY, as you can see, we had a massive gap down from 564.20. I made it very, very clear, if you've been following along the channel, that 564, 565 is going to be that bearish zone where you're going to want to day trade and swing trade put options, man. There were several opportunities to day trade and also to swing trade, buy and put options at 564 towards that all-time gap nearly at 565. Congratulations to those of you who took advantage of those put option opportunities. As you can see, today was the day where we finally had the massive sell-off, man. We had several fake outs. We had several false breakouts at this 562, 564 overall range. Today was the day where the SPY finally had a massive crack of this 555 support level. And I made it very clear once we go under 555, the next level that we're dropping to is 551. The next level under that is going to be 549. Now, with that being said, this is what I want you to understand in terms of where we are at in the overall range. You can see right here, we have a gap that is waiting to fill above at 563.68. This is going to be the second highest gap that is waiting to fill above. We still have a gap that's waiting to fill above at 564.80. It has not been filled yet. If you are extremely, just including the overall market open to close price action, I do believe it did get filled during the extended hours trading session, right? But with that being said, in terms of the top of the range, it's going to be 563.68 and 564.80. That is going to be the zone where you buy put options, right? If you're seeing the bearish 30-minute trend reversal confirmations, the bearish 30-minute confirmations at those levels, you're going to be day trading put options. You're going to be selling into the moves. You're going to be setting profit stops to ensure you don't go green to red on those overall trades, right? Now, with that being said, in terms of the overall support level that we are in the market, you can see we are towards the overall bottom of the range, right? So in terms of the bottom of the range, you can see right here, we have a lot of support at 549, right? This was a key support level that was never tested, and it had a massive overreaction to new all-time highs. So if the SPY is going to gap down and have an overreaction to the downside, and then test this very special support level, it's very likely that it's going to bounce first because it's just so oversold. So in terms of a day trading scalping reaction, is very normal that it's going to bounce first, which was one of the reasons why I did decide to buy those call options on the first power hour trade. Now, with that being said, in terms of the overall outlook of the market, you can see right here that this is a special level. The reason why this is a special support level, and in terms of this strategy, what you do is you find a ticker that gaps up. And, once the market closes, you take the low of day. As you can see right here, the SPY ended up gapping up. You take the low of day. So August 15th, the low of day is at 548.88. Once the SPY cracks that support level, there is no support. It's held up on thin air. It's hanging by a thread. So once this support level cracks and reacts bearish, it's going to start to fill the gap. There's a gap that's waiting to fill below at 543.66. There's previous resistance with a bullish green-red-green pattern that has not been tested yet. Right here at 544.35. So that's going to be your bullish zone. That's going to be your best zone, right? So in terms of the way I look at the market on overall swing trading range, right? And in terms of swing tradings, I wait for the market to close right before it closes. In terms of when I swing trade, I wait for a specific, levels with specific strategies in terms of the swing trades, right? So in terms of like swing trades, you can look to swing trade puts at the 564 to 565 range. You can look to swing trade calls at the 543.70 to 544 range. But there has to be bullish or trend reversal daily confirmations. One of the confirmations that I use to enter swing trades is I wait for the market to close right before the market closes at special levels with the strategies, with the stack, dissecting the chart. Right before it closes, if I'm getting a bullish or a trend reversal daily, candlestick, then I'll look to swing trade calls. If I'm getting a bearish trend reversal or daily candlestick at the level, then I'll look to swing trade puts, right? So, overall bottom of the range for the calls, you can say is going to be 543.60 to 544.35. That's where I'm interested in buying calls. So I gave you the best levels for calls. I gave you the best levels for puts. You got to set your price alerts and you got to patiently wait for levels to hit. In terms of where we are at right now, we're in a bit of a battle to fill the gaps, right? So we're towards the bottom middle of the range, right? In terms of your overall bottom, it's going to be that 544 to 543. In terms of your overall top, it's going to be 564 to 565. So right now, we bounced off of that gap breakdown support level, which is a very normal reaction considering we were just at all-time highs and we had such a massive sell-off. It's likely going to bounce when it tests this level first instead of just cracking right away and then flushing to fill the gap. It's just not realistic. When there's very little time left on the shot clock and SPY's that oversold, and when it tests that key special gap breakdown support level for the first time, is likely going to bounce first into the close instead of just cracking and filling the gap below because it's just so oversold. It had a massive gap down and it sold off the whole entire day. Like I said, we entered 2 trades during the puts. The first one was during the morning at 9:33 a.m. The second one was way later in the day. Both of the fucking trades went up 1,000%, and that's a big time difference. That's hours within time difference, man. So it's very likely that it's going to bounce first into the close at that 549 level, which again is one of the reasons why the first power hour trades that I made was on calls. Now, with that being said, in terms of the range, man, it's like a fight. It's like a battle. We're towards the bottom of the range. It's a battle on which gap is going to fill first. Is it going to be 564 or 544? And then once the gaps start to fill, that's when we look to play the reversals, right? So right now, you're kind of taking advantage of the overall gap fill plays on which one's going to fill first. And then once they fill, we're looking for reversal signals, reversal confirmations to set that new trend, right? So right now, the overall trend is going to be fighting to fill one of those gaps below. So these are going to be the levels, man. In terms of the levels, SPY closed at 552. Right now, we're at 549. So once we go under 549, that's when the bears take full control in terms of the support level, right? And that's when you can buy puts for the key breakdown. You see a bearish 30-minute confirmation under this 549 is going to crash, and it's going to go to 544 to 543. Right? So that's your first game plan for puts. In terms of that overall game plan, that is going to be the support level where once it cracks, reacts bearish, forms a roof, forms a ceiling, the bears are going to take full control. Now, in terms of your next level, 552, that's going to be your previous closing price. So 552 is going to be towards, the bottom middle level. If it reacts to support, we go to 555. If it reacts as a resistance, we go to 549, right? So nothing too significant about this 552 level. In terms of a make or break level, 555, man. 555 is going to be a true make or break level, man. The crazy levels that you need to keep an eye on are going to be this 555. I'm telling you, the best levels, 544 to 543 calls, 555. This is your make or break support level. As you can see, 555, 555. Once it reacts to support, massive move to the upside, it fills the gap. Once it reacts as a resistance, massive move to the downside. And then if it continues to do that, it's going to crack 549, fill the gap below, right? So 555, very significant make or break level. That's going to help determine when those gaps are going to start to fill. If it breaks out, reacts to support, we explode up to 560. That's your next level. If it breaks down, reacts as a resistance, we're going to start to crack that 549, go to 543. So I'm telling you, your true best levels, man, you need to pay attention to that 543, 544 support zone. You need to pay attention to that 555 overall make or break level zone. That's where a massive move is going to occur. You need to pay attention to 560. 560.60 is a gap breakout level, right? So in terms of a gap breakout, this is when you find a ticker that gaps down. As you can see, SPY ended up gapping down, and then you take the high of day, right? So this is the inverse of the gap breakdown. So in terms of the high of day, 560.81. So if it breaks above 560.81, reacts to support, then it's going to explode up to fill the gap, and then it could potentially reverse the gap, right? If it reacts as a resistance, we go back to 555. So your true best overall levels that you really need to focus on, man, call options for reversals, 543.70 gap reversal, previous resistance to reactive support 544, which could also be swing trade plays. 549, once we crack, bears take full control, it drops down to the lower zone. 552 is like a make or break level, not 100% the best, most interesting level, right? 555, very interesting level. That's going to help determine whether we start to fill this gap above or we start to crack and go under that 549, right? Keep your eyes on 555. 560 is the gap breakout level, make or break. And then 564 to 565 is the gap reversal zone. Those are going to be your best levels possible to be trading at on the SPY. I gave you the overall reversal levels. The other levels you can keep an eye on to see if it reacts to support, reacts as resistance. You're getting bullish or bearish confirmations, and then you can play it to sell and to move for the next level. Make sure you guys are setting profit stops. Do not go green to red on these overall trades, right? So with that being said, in terms of the trades that we made inside of Team Roar, I'm going to be breaking this down for you step by step. So in terms of the first trade, I'm going to walk you through this here. Let's get straight into it, right? So as you could see, at 9:33 a.m., we ended up buying 557 SPY puts for 44 cents a contract, right? We got in at 9:33 a.m. soon as the market opened, and we ended up exiting the position right here at 101 cents at 9:54 a.m., right? So in terms of the overall option contract, we go to 557 puts. I'm going to walk you through this play, man. This was the first trade on puts. You could have made a 1,000% profit return, man. On the morning plays, you can leave runners. 20% of position size is typically what we would call runners. You can leave some runners, man, because if the morning plays hit big and it closes in our favor, it could be a 1,000% plus profit return, man. So this is where we got in right here, as you can see, towards the exact low of day. And then this is where we exited towards the exact peak before we had this very nice drop, right? And then as you can see, those contracts went from all the way to 40 cents a contract, right? To 676, man. A 1,500% plus profit return, right? And you would think all the winning stops there. But inside of Team Roar, we have a real-time options trade alert system. We trade during the morning, we trade during the middle of the day, we trade during the power hour trading session. We are printing at the speed of light nonstop inside of Team Roar. So I'm gonna walk you through the second trade, right? So in terms of the second trade, let's get straight into it. As you can see right here, we ended up buying SPY puts again. At 12:57 p.m., we ended up buying 553 SPY puts for 40 cents a contract. And then we ended up exiting the position at 84 cents a contract for another 100% profit return, right? So in terms of this overall trade, I'm going to walk you through it, man. So as you can see, in terms of the SPY puts, this is where we ended up getting in on the 553 puts. I'm going to walk you through this. So we got in right here, phenomenal entry into the 40 cent range. And then in terms of where we ended up exiting towards this exact short-term peak right here at 2:05 p.m. Now, in terms of my own personal trading, I'm going to walk you through this, man. I made it very clear. Tesla call options, man. You go back, you watch the game plan that I posted last night. I made it very, very clear, so I'm not going to be repeating myself. If you want to understand the overall recap of this trade, make sure you go back and watch last night's video. I'm not going to repeat the same exact plan. I gave you the plan. Now I'm just showing you that we caught the plan in real fucking time, man. We're not just making plans that are helping you making money. We're taking the trades in real time. Who better than to trade it than the person who creates the plan and the strategies, man? We are the fucking trend, man. We're creating the trends. We are the reversals, man. We are the fucking indicator. With that being said, at 9:53 a.m., let's buy Tesla, let's buy Tesla 220 calls for 250 contract. We're literally setting the fucking trend, man. So as soon as I got in, this was nearly the exact lows. It fucking reversed, man. 9:53 a.m. Tesla calls. So in terms of the Tesla calls, as you can see right here, we go to 9:53 a.m. You're going to see I got in at the exact fucking lows, man. As soon as I got in these fucking calls, man, this dropped from 250 all the way to 210. It dropped 40 cents, man. If I would have just waited one more fucking minute, I would have been at the exact lows on this overall trade, man. And then as you can see, it ended up going to 430 a contract at the speed of fucking light, man. Look at this. In the morning, these were at 485. Once it dropped back towards very strong support, very strong lows here, I ended up getting in towards the exact lows. And then in terms of where I exited the position, as you can see, I ended up closing out the trade. My target was at 220. The 30-minute candle, I'm going to get into the exit here. I ended up exiting the position at 10:24 a.m. We go to 10:24 a.m. You're going to see this is 10:24 a.m. I sold the exact peak on Tesla calls. So like I said, go back and watch last night's video. It's going to explain to you why I bought the calls. In terms of this lesson, I'm just going to explain to you the confirmation that I was seeing. So if you watch the game plan from last night, you're going to be well aware in terms of why I was interested in buying Tesla call options slightly below the previous closing price. So once I saw that we were dropping under the previous closing price, right? In terms of my main confirmation, it was that we were just at 520. It had such a massive sell-off in price. So I noticed that once it dropped right back down to that previous closing price, it's likely going to spike back up, because in terms of this 30-minute confirmation, it's very likely that we bottomed towards the previous closing price. I gave you the reasons why in last night's video, and it's very likely that we spiked back up to the high of day, because this is a 30-minute wick, and it needs to retest this wick if there's overall 30-minute bullish confirmations. And like I said, the overall confirmations were posted in last night's video, man. But in terms of some other reasons, we have a lot of resistance right here on the 30-minute chart at 214, 214. Once we break above that resistance level, the next resistance level is going to be to fill the gap that is waiting to fill above on Tesla. As you can see, there is a gap that is waiting to fill above right here at 220 range. There's a gap to fill above, right? So if that previous resistance, right, from this previous resistance right here, from this from August 29th, this 214 level reacts to support, we're going to fill the gap at 220, then it can reverse at 220. So it just shot up straight to 220 to fill the gap, and I'm not going to chase it. So I told myself, if it drops back down to the previous closing price, I'm going to look for reversal confirmations. There was many reversal confirmations, man. The 30-minute chart gave it away. It's going to try to retest the wick. All the information I provided in last night's game plan explained to you why it can potentially bottom at previous closing price, slightly below that. I'm not going to be going over that again. In terms of using 1-minute chart confirmations, if you looked at the 1-minute chart, you can see that previous closing price was reacting bearish, had a small drop. But like I said, if it has a small drop under previous closing price, that's likely going to be the bottom. So if it's just sitting slightly under the previous closing price, and then in terms of a true shift in direction, you can see right here, see how the previous closing price, this white line, is reacting as a resistance? That means that it's trying to react bearish, and it did get new lows once it formed this ceiling on the 1-minute chart. I like to trade using the 1-minute and 30-minute time frame. But once we had a breakout above the previous closing price, it formed higher support, higher support, higher support. This right here, since it's forming higher support above the previous closing price, that's confirmation to be buying call options at 10:07 a.m. Where's your new resistance? Your new resistance is above the previous closing price at 215.27. Remember I told you in last night's video, if we break above 215.40, that's where you buy the calls for the breakout level. Well, it had the break above 215.40. So if you're seeing a new floor right here on the 1-minute chart, new floor, new floor, new floor, higher resistance, higher resistance, higher resistance, buy the fucking calls, add into the fucking calls. Where are you going to be selling? You're going to be selling on this wick. This fucking wick towards the gap is where it's going to start to top, man, towards this 218 to 220. So the reason why I just had to get out, it just made common sense. 212.50 to 218.50 in 30 fucking minutes is a massive move, and it's towards massive resistance. SPY reversed at the gap. 30-minute confirmation help gave it away. 1-minute chart, many signals. This right here, if you just use the 1-minute chart, and again, you're applying everything I told in last night's video. This is just the updated part where I'm actually trading. I'm just teaching you trading confirmations in this video. There's a whole lot more to this. If you watch last night's video, I explained to it. It's a whole fucking trend we went over, right? This is showing you how I kind of catch the trend. This right here is a bullish flipping trend, breaks above resistance, right? And then it pulls back down. You have a new floor. You have bottom wicks above previous closing price, previous resistance, is reversing at the gap. It's going to try to spike back to the high of that 30-minute wick. And then I told you in last night's video, 215.40. So you can see right here, new resistance is at 215.40, breaks above resistance, forms a new floor, new support, right? So you're adding into that, and then you're selling into the rips, into the resistance, and you're setting your profit stop, and you're moving your profit stop up to ensure you're not going to go green to red on the day, to ensure you're not going to get back the bulk of your profits if Tesla has a massive move to the downside against you while you're in the calls. So with that being said, it just made clear sense for me to get out as soon as that 30-minute candlestick closed, because I'm saying, Tesla reversed the gap. I literally got in towards the exact lows. It's very realistic to pull back towards 219 again. This is major resistance towards 220. So I'm not going to try to milk it making an extra, small gain on these contracts when I'm already at nearly 100% profit return, right? I'm going to play it safe. And I'm also just going to understand that this happens so fast. If we're going from 212 to 218.60 in 30 fucking minutes, there's no fucking way I'm going to be holding calls on Tesla, man, especially if we're at major resistance. The move happened too fast. You take the fucking gains and then you run and then you say, all right, I'm gonna wait throughout later in the day. If we drop back down and we see a bullish 30-minute confirmation, I'll get back in, right? So since the move happened so fucking fast, that's one of the main reasons why I sold, man. The 30-minute candle was too big of a move. 212 to 218.70, man. This is the beauty of just holding for 30 fucking minutes, man. You get out once that 30-minute candlestick closes, you take your gains, you take a bulk of that fucking move, and then you can leave some runners, set the profit stops, right? Now, in terms of the next trade that I made on the day, it was on SPY calls, man. So that was in terms of my own first personal trade on the day. And I did end up taking the trade on puts with GWAR. But in terms of the next trade that I ended up making, it was on calls, man. I bought these 551 calls at the exact lows at 3:48 p.m., man. So if we go to SPY at 3:48 p.m., you're going to see, man, there was plenty of good reasons to be buying call options. If we go to 3:48 p.m., you can see right here, I got in a minute after the low of day. Why? Because I'm well aware that this 549 was a key level. This 549 is a make or break key level, like I explained to you. So once it tests for the first time, it's likely going to bounce first. So using the 1 minute chart, it mainly had to do with the 1 minute chart on that overall play. You can see 549, this is make or break support. Look at this 30-minute candlestick, man. In 30 minutes, this went from 548.88 all the way to $551. That's a massive move within 30 minutes. So I'm well aware in terms of how the market works in terms of day trading. If we're gapping down from 564 and then we're selling off all the way down to 549, and you can make multiple trades on puts that are going up thousands of percent, well, heading into the fucking close, we're likely gonna have a strong bounce at a key level. And the key level was at 549, man. This is make or break. If we can't crack, we're exploding up to 551. That's what the chart says. If we crack, we fill the gap. But since it tests for the first time, it's likely going to bounce first on the first time, especially if we're having an overreaction to the downside with a gap that is waiting to fill above, man. Look, if there's not much time left on the shot clock and we're that oversold and it tests the best support level for the first time, what do you think is going to happen? You think it's just going to flush through that level and fill the gap below? No, it's going to start to bounce first and react bullish first, which is why as soon as I saw this bullish 1 minute wick at that 549 level, I had to buy call options, man, because I'm thinking to myself, there's only 12 minutes left within the market. It bounced off the key level. You have a very strong bullish bottom wick in the 1 minute chart. Is very likely that it's going to try to recover some of these gains into the fucking close. So I bought those calls towards the exact lows at 28 cents a contract, and then I sold them at the speed of light in 2 fucking minutes at 65 cents. And then in terms of my next trade, it was on puts. I took a loss on puts. It was very, very cheap. It was only 20 cents a contract, right? The trade on puts didn't work out. I thought it was going to have a small reversal once I exited the trade on calls. They went up so fucking much. That's nearly like a 200% profit return, like 150% profit return at the speed of light. So I was thinking there was going to be a small reversal, and there wasn't. And then GWAR, he went 3 for 3 in terms of his own personal trading. He had a very nice trade on call options into the close as well, man. So with that being said, for those of you who are serious about making money, it's going to be the first link down below within the description. We are making money. We are printing at the speed of light, non-fucking stop inside of Team Roar, man. So it's going to be the first link down below within the description. We have many members who are making $500 a day. We have some members who are making $1,000 plus a day, man. I see the same names, the same faces come back every single day, posting their profits. We are absolutely crushing it, man. If you want to join our secure private organization, it is going to be the first link down below within the description, man. I'm telling you, losing and being red is literally a personal fucking choice. All I see is nonstop fucking winning. And in terms of, the real-time options trading alert system that we have, man, there is nothing like this available within the market, man. You're not going to find anything like this, man. Just to give you some background in terms of the basics, for those of you who are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. One of the things that we provide on this channel is the best money-making game plans within the overall markets, man. But in terms of some background to the real-time zero-date options trading alert system, we trade completely different than anybody else. We're buying cheap, far, low risk, out of money option contracts. We're going 3 to 5 legs out sometimes. very far out of the money, 0-day options, right? In terms of the Tesla play that I made today, is very rare that we do that. We're usually trading, we trade 0-day options. If we see a stock play, we'll take it. In terms of the stock plays, they're only going to be 0 dates if it's on Friday, right? But there was a good play on Tesla and I didn't want to pass it up. Plus I took the trade on SPY puts and those fucking killed it too. But anyways, man, let's get straight into this. So in terms of some background to the 0-day system, we have the highest win rate in the game buying cheap, far low risk out of money option contracts. We are known for selling these contracts in the money, right? In the money, 90% of the time. We're known for buying them far out, selling them in the money 90% of the time. In terms of the max risk per trade, whatever your max risk is per trade, it could be 2%, it could be 3% of your account on the overall trade. We put in our max risk per trade into the overall contracts, right? So in terms of what that means is, that means if we're down 60, 70, 80, 90% on the contracts, we have the entire day for them to go in the money, for them to even expire in the money, right? We have the entire fucking day for that to happen. So in terms of the dead plays that drop 50, 60, 70%, we let them expire fucking worthless. We let them lose all their fucking value, meaning we do not use stop losses. We do not use stop losses. And in my experience inside of Team Roar, 70% plus of the time, when we're down 50, 60, 70% on a play, if we hold, which we do, we're known for holding, and we let our wins fucking run, right? When we're holding these contracts and we're down 50, 60, 70%, because we're not using stop losses, we just let them expire worthless, right? We're just losing our max risk per trade, just as any other trader. They lose their max risk per trade, except when they lose it, they're taking big position sizes, right? So they're getting stopped out using their stop losses. Us, we're doing everything differently over here, right? We're putting in our max risk per trade to hit that very high risk to reward ratio, right? So with that being said, man, when we are down 50, 60, 70, 80% on a trade, we are known for having that trade come back to life and going in the money 70% of the time, right? So when we're down like 50, 60, 70%, 70% of the time, those contracts come back to life. Now, in terms of some more background to the system, one thing we do differently is we focus on adding to winners. We do not like adding to losers. We do not like averaging our cost down. It's going to be very rare that we do that. Sometimes it will happen, but we focus on adding to winners. When we are up a little bit, typically like 15, 20%, and we get a winning confirmation early into the win, we tend to win big, man. You see the trades, 100%, 200%, 1000% plus. If we're up, 15, 20%, for us, that's not a big return. We quickly add to our winners. When we win, the winning tends to continue, and it tends to be very fucking big. So we hold our wins, and we add to our winners to increase the fucking winning, right? And then we set a profit stop. Once we are up a little bit, and once we add, we set the profit stop. The profit stop is going to secure our position. It is going to secure our new average cost. It is going to secure our gains to ensure that at the worst case scenario, we go green to green. We go from being up a lot on the green to up a little bit less on the green, right? And to ensure that it's not a big fluctuation from green to green, we're going to make sure that we move our profit stops up. As the trade is working in our favor, we're going to keep on moving the profit stop up, because once that trade works against us, we don't want to have a massive fluctuation in price as we're holding. We want to get stopped out for the vast majority of the bulk of the gains as we're taking advantage of this, right? So it's going to help also ensure that we don't go green to red on a winning trade. And by adding to winners is going to increase the winnings. Like I said, man, with the right winning confirmation, we like to add quickly to the winner. And then all we need is one small move in our favor to increase that fucking winning. We set the profit stop, move the profit stop up, get stopped out for fucking profits. You can also sell into the move at key levels. That's mainly what I'm known for doing, is selling into the move like I did with Tesla. I'm more, in terms of my trading style, I'm more, as of now, selling into the moves. I'm very good at selling into the overall moves. You can leave runners. You can set profit stops to protect those overall runners as well, right? So in terms of the morning trading session, you're going to want to start positions very light. In terms of the real-time options trading alert system, is all fucking day, man. We are winning non-fucking stop all fucking day, man. When you can trade and when you know how to trade, you can trade all fucking day if you wanted to, man. But like I said, we have a lot of people inside of Team Roar, man. They literally just call it after the morning session. Nearly every single morning session is green. There's typically 3 sessions in a day: the morning, the middle of the day, and power hour, right? Those true best sessions tend to be at market open and power hour trading session. Power hour is what I'm known for mastering in, and that's what I consider to be the best session to possibly trade at. It has the highest risk to reward ratio, right? Because the beauty of the power hour trading session is these contracts are getting ready to expire worthless. So when you can buy them extremely cheap with very little time left, you can make the biggest percentage gains with the lowest risk in the quickest period of time. Within 10, 15, 20 minutes, you can run up 1,000% returns on SPX. So with that being said, start your positions very light in the overall morning, add exclusively to winners, right? So that could be like 10, 15%. You can also go about a cent, 8 to 10 cent pump, set profit stops after you add to your winners, right? So in terms of the rules, the first 30 minutes of the market open, it's going to be the riskiest play of the day. The reason why that is there's no true definition. Now, in certain situations, if you dissect the chart and it's showing you everything is there, that won't be the case. But in most situations, this is absolutely correct, man. In most situations, there's no true direction in the first 30 minutes. That's why it's the highest risk play. But like I said, in rare certain situations, when you dissect the chart and everything is aligning up, and obviously we're aware of those situations, then that's a different story, man. But this is just speaking in terms of the mass, in terms of the masses, in terms of the bulk of the situation. It's true. There's lack of direction within the first 30 minutes. That's why in terms of my personal trading, you're always going to see me wait. I like to wait till the middle of the day, and I like to trade during power hour trading session, man. Power hour trading and morning trading have a lot of equality in terms of the volatility, but the power hour trading, the contracts are getting ready to expire worthless, man. So you can make such big returns, the biggest returns on the day in such a quick period of time, man. Literally the key times, 3:30 p.m., 3:45 p.m., 3:50 p.m., 3:55 p.m. During those all key times, you can run up multiple 100% profit returns. Like I said, I made nearly 200% profit return on SPY calls in 2 single minutes during the power hour trading session, man. If you try that in the morning, it's going to take you about 30 minutes minimum. So with that being said, man, in terms of, some background to the system, that is just some background, man. Like I said, you have to join the program and experience this for yourself. But like I said, man, we have a 90% plus win rate buying far the money option contracts. We sell them in the money 90% of the time. The dead plays that drop 60, 70, 80%, 70% of the times, they come back to life, they go in the money. We trade during the market open session. We trade during the middle of the day. We trade during the power hour trading session, right? SPX, YOLO extravaganza party, is 3:30 p.m. every single day, man. There's going to be SPX plays throughout the week. You'll get a couple every single week towards that 3:30 p.m. session. That is going to be a situation where you're risking under $100 to be making $300 to $500, and in certain situations, $1,000 to $2,000 in overall contract, man. That's that 3:30 to 4 p.m. Overall session. Inside of this group, we only trade SPX when it's extremely cheap, which is past 3:30 p.m., typically past 3:40 p.m., right? But like I said, man, if you want to be a part of the greatest, the best zero-day options trading group on the fucking planet to ever fucking exist, it is going to be the first link down below within the description, and you will see we're doing the complete opposite of what everyone else is doing, and we are the best at doing it, man. That's why we say all the time, man, who the fuck prints like us? And the offer is always there, man, for $10,000. Name another group that has a 90% success rate, buying cheap, far, low risk, out of money option contracts, selling in the money 90% of the times. And this group is not just a call out group. This is not just a trading group. This is a zero-day options trading alert system. This is a strategic system where we are holding for massive fucking wins. We're not just getting in and out very, very fucking quickly. We know how to hold for massive fucking wins. That separates us from everybody else because we're winning very fucking big percentage-wise using a very cheap, low-risk barrier to entry. Like I said, for small accounts, in order to grow your small account, you need to use a cash account, right? And you're not going to be able to really grow a small account if you're trading stocks. So you got to trade options. And if you know how to hold trades for big fucking wins, everybody goes with out of money options. We're not doing that in the money option stuff. Those cost a lot more, and people use stop losses with those, and people sell for very small wins with those. And there's no big fucking gains in it with a small account, right? You're gonna need a massive account if you're going in the fucking money, right? And a lot of people doing that, they just get in and out very, very quickly with 6-figure plus accounts, right? With us, we use no fucking stop losses. Our dead plays that drop 70% of the time can come back to life and go in the money. We're buying something that's out of the money. We have the entire day to hold and sell in the money. Since the contracts are so cheap, it allows us to remove the stop loss, and instead of getting stopped out, to always have that opportunity to sell in the money. This is the beauty of far out of money options. It's true that options give you options to do whatever you want to do within this market. But the beauty of far out of money options is it gives you an opportunity to do fucking anything, man. It gives you the most opportunity within this market. To say that you can trade without a stop loss and you always have that possibility throughout the day to go in the money and sell in the fucking money, man, while you're not exposing yourself to more fucking risk because you're putting your max risk per trade, that in itself has been a game changer, man. Holding for the fucking wins to win fucking bigger, man, because we know how to hold it, because we know how to fucking trade, right? And then also, like I said, man, it's just very simple, man. So with that being said, that's just some of the background in terms of the options trailer system. That's just some of the basics. If you want to experience this within real time, it's going to be the first link down below within the description, man. No stop losses, max risk per trade, entire cost of the contracts, set profit stops when you're up a little bit, add to winners to increase the fucking winning, hold for fucking big wins, sell in the money, man. I'm telling you, there's nothing like it, man. You're not going to find anything else like there in terms of the planet, man. Like I said, there's some call out groups, but do they have a 90% plus success rate doing this? Do their dead plays that drop 60, 70% plus go back and come back to life and go in the money 70% plus at a time, right? And do they have the system? Like I said, we have a very strategic trading system. And in terms of that trading system, we set profit stops, we add to winners, and we don't use stop losses. With that being said, we're going to be signing off. I will see you guys tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow within the chat.